congratulations. You guys did a hell of a job, and we're proud of you, that's for sure. And it's good to see you here today.
Well, it's good to be here.
Yeah, I'll bet you 72 years ago today, you didn't think maybe you'd be here today.
Well, I wasn't worried too much about it.
I never ever doubted I wouldn't come back.
Okay.
I know George would take care of me.
Ah, right. Now, are the three in the same company?
No.
No.
Well, I was short time. I was in the I section.
Okay.
He was in the I
What's down
section. I was in the I section for a long time.
And what company were you charged to?
It was because of the I
What
officer
company?
that he's alive.
What company?
Okay, what company were you with?
What?
C company.
Actually, I was anti-tank.
Okay, right on.
Well, you were in support.
Yeah,
Same company I was.
See, for Madoc, we only recognize B company, eh?
They started me out in B company, and I
Okay.
didn't like it. They wanted to make me a lance.
George was in the I section for a while, but he couldn't stand the NCOs to give him orders.
No.
So he went to the anti-tank, but didn't give any
I
orders.
didn't go to the anti.
No, he went to the mortars, didn't he?
So when you were in I section, did you run into Farley Moa?
He was.
Squibb.
Yeah.
I was with Hammond. Then they didn't have enough anti-tank. They only had 2 anti-tank guns.
Charlie Moore became IO
No, they-
after Cochran was killed
Okay, Battle Cockin, yeah.
at the
He
end.
was the I officer.
Yeah.
He was the man.
And he is responsible for that MM that I got because he sent us out to the to the support companies, to the different support companies. And one of the things they said, that if you want to spot a German, an enemy mortar, you look for a puff of smoke coming. And outside it, so I say that he's responsible. I got an MM for,
Yeah.
they blew it up or something.
The reason he got the MM was Cochran was fed up and telling him to pull up his socks.
Is that what it was?
Every time we went to do anything, Private Gunter, pull up your socks.
Now, when Cochrane got killed, wasn't Sutcliffe with him at the same time?
Yeah.
Same
Cochran,
moment.
Cochran wasn't killed outright. He died in first casualty
Oh,
clear.
okay.
They brought him back to F Echelon, and he was on the stretcher.
They brought him into the battalion headquarters.
And he was giving orders to the sergeant. I had told him about a couple of men who had been in the I section and were back at B Echelon. And he gave them the orders too.
Is that airburst, George got him?
Mhm.
Airburst, was it?
Yeah,
George
that's what-
knew weren't you his Batman going overseas?
Hey,
Were you his Batman going
I was
overseas?
his Batman going overseas. He was one of my officers in basic.
Nobody
Now, these
knows
guys
an
all
officer
landed
better
right
than
outside
Batman.
Pacino?
Hmm?
You guys landed at Pacino or close by?
Well, we landed on the shores of Sicily.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Well,
the nearest city would have been
Pacino's
Pacino?
inland.
Yeah,
He was
okay.
killed in Azora.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
planning Azora.
Yeah. What time in the morning did you land? Was it still dark?
No,
I didn't land
when we landed, it was
When
really
the
good.
when the battalion went in, I was with the platoon headquarters and our captain, because we had the vehicles. They had these carts that they pulled parts of the mortars and that
Okay,
on,
great.
and they went in. The mortars went in.
Now, were these 60s or 81s, the mortars?
Oh no, 3-inch.
Okay.
We didn't have the newfangled ones.
We did. But, anyway, so it was daylight when you landed?
Well, it was when I landed.
Okay. And did you wade in or did you dry land?
Waited.
You waited, okay. And was there any Italians there waiting for you?
Well, there was where we landed because we landed about 3 miles from where we were supposed to land. Navy took us in the wrong place. Well, maybe not 3 miles, but a couple of miles anyway. And we landed the first, I think he was the first soldier killed in Sicily. Nutley, Charlie Nutley was killed.
Yeah.
Chuck Nutley.
He was a sergeant, wasn't
No, Sergeant Major.
he? Sergeant Major, okay.
Sergeant Major,
Right.
CSM.
Yep.
CSM of A Company.
Yeah, okay.
And we landed right behind them. We went in on an LCM, I think it was, and we had a couple mortar crews with us, and all of the battalion headquarters pretty well. Sprott and and the IO went with the colonel, but the rest of us went in an LCM, I think it was. It held about, I think it was at least 50.
Yeah, landed craft men for you.
Yeah.
For,
Yeah, and it was and we followed. We got lost out there. We were sitting out in the Mediterranean. Nobody knew where to go.
Yeah.
And the skipper says to the adjutant was in our boat too. He says to Captain Bird, he says, "Where do we go?" And Captain Bird said, "Don't you know where we go?" He said, "No, I was supposed to follow that track, and there it was, one end down and one end up."
that'd be Dickie Bird.
Yeah, it didn't. One cable didn't let go or something, and so they packed everybody into ours. When we went in, and here we are floating around out in the Mediterranean, and Duffy took over, and he was RSM then.
Yeah.
And RSM Duffy, Angus Duffy took over, and he said, "Do you know where Sicily is?" And the guys, "Oh yes, I can find Sicily." The skipper, and that's the way we went in. So he hit for Sicily,
So-
and we landed about, I would say, about 1.5 miles, 2 miles north of where we landed,
Okay.
and we landed ahead of the commandos, the Navy commandos,
Okay.
and that's where Nutley was killed when we landed. An Italian post above us fired down.
Now, did they start surrendering pretty quick, the Italians?
Oh yeah, I think they
Yeah,
fired
got
down.
within 500 yards of them. They were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, they were marching back and giving us the V salute.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The V salute as they were going up.
So you got through the first day. Obviously, everybody survived. You three gentlemen, anyway. And then you started marching, right? Or,
Yeah.
was there any carriers to take
Well,
you?
by the time we
The
come in,
carriers,
the beach
didn't-
was clear.
Okay.
A Company went in ahead of us, and the beach was clear. Nutley was laying, Chuck Nutley was laying on his back, no, pardon, yes, on his back with his feet, it was almost in the water.
Okay. Well, you didn't get fired, did you?
You know, he was one of the first, no, what was it, something, they forgot the Bangalore torpedoes or something,
Okay.
and he was going back to get the Bangalore torpedoes.
It's a
Yeah,
long
what
pole
happened?
filled,
That was
pipe
it.
filled with dynamite? Okay.
And what happened there, what happened with the Bangalores was that the guys that were supposed to be handling them were supposed to be Army Service Corps guys, and they frigged everything all up, so they changed it at the last minute, and they didn't know who was carrying them. And there they were laying in the landing craft.
Okay.
So we got off in water.
Ivan,
Wasn't Wigmore?
give Joe a chance to talk, will you?
Okay,
Was Wigmore? He was on the Bangalore.
Joe,
yeah.
Joe, now did you get to Gramicali? Gramicali, or however you want to pronounce it?
What was that?
Gramicali.
Oh yeah.
Did you get there?
Yeah.
And were you part of the ambush, like when you got ambushed?
We're always in behind the rifle company in
Okay.
support.
Okay. Now, did you get to Osoro?
Yes.
That was quite a climb.
Yep.
Yeah, she was quite fine.
Any of you gentlemen make the climb?
I did.
I made the climb, but I did it after the salt company went up. We carried rations up. The
Okay.
RCRs carried the rations to the base of the hill, and they had to get back to their unit, so we were a fighting escort.
Now, did Duffy take charge of getting the supplies back up?
Duffy come off the hill, and him and Ponsford
Yeah, okay.
come back.
George, yeah.
Yeah, and they
Now, Joe, you said you were in support company. You say anti-tank,
Anti-tank. Yep.
6-pounders,
Yep.
and did you have a chance to use them?
No.
Okay,
If we couldn't go in with our guns, I'd go in with C Company.
okay. So anyway, how was Duffy?
Duffy.
Oh, he was.
Like I was in the Hasty Peas when Duffy was.
Duffy was a-
Duffy was
Duffy
number
was a
one,
good man.
higher than number one.
Okay,
He was a good man.
I've never heard. Excuse me, say anybody say anything bad about him.
Well, there's a lot of them had a lot to say about him after he was gone.
Okay.
I had a corporal throw me in jail one time, and he went down and pulled me out.
After the war, they had 20 veterans singing here in Belleville. I went in there and we were going to make a trip over to Holland, and I went in and see if I could get some flags to take. Duffy was in there, and the guy Jim Means was one of that 20 veterans.
Oh, yeah.
He says to Duffy, he said, "You know that guy?" Duffy looked around, he said, "How would you like to have 900 guys like that guy that don't listen to you and try and boss him around?" That was last time I seen it.
Well, you tell them what it was like when you went in,
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah,
And
Joe.
don't interrupt.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we went behind the rifle companies like, we went in, but they only had, as far as I know, they had 2 anti-tank guns. So they told us we'd have to go with 14th Platoon Charlie Company. If they got more guns up there, they'd put us back in the anti-tank. So I was with Charlie Company pretty well most.
Okay.
Now, when we were bringing in the carriers for the mortars and our transport, one of the ships on the way through was torpedoed, and we lost some of our vehicles, so we wound up with some of the Desert Rat
Okay.
equipment. And that was, we landed on D+1
Okay.
and spent a night there. It was the first time I ever heard a donkey. I was
Okay.
stuck for the first dark shift, and we were right by a vineyard, and we heard something rustling. So the guy that was with me, he was a little French fella, and I was just going to say to him, you slip down through there and I'll give you cover and fire. Bastard got it out first, so I'm pussyfooting down with my Tommy gun. Never cocked the son of a bitch, and all of a sudden I heard, you never saw anybody come out of a vineyard. But then we caught up to the regiment at Gramasheli.
Yeah. Okay.
Took you that long to get up
That's
there?
none of your damn business. I told you that before you come in.
So what'd you have for rations?
Well, we had ersatz tea. We had a tea with milk and sugar and everything in it. And I don't know what the hell all
I
the
suppose
others-
it'd be out of line to ask any one of you if you ever found any red wine.
Okay.
The which?
Any red wine?
No, did they have it there?
George, but what time you got to us, we were eating like kings.
Gunner, your mother should have drowned you.
So nobody had any plunk or anything like that?
Well, eventually you got moving up towards Italy. They were able to set up stills and distill the red wine.
Okay.
And you got steam, and if you took a mouthful of that, your hair stood straight up.
Well, the Pioneer Platoon were inventive, and they didn't take them long. I think there were a few corn whiskey guys in there, and it wasn't long before they were brewing the wine down. She was pretty potent, wasn't George? That was pretty potent stuff.
Was that called steam?
Yeah.
We had 2 snipers, Ram Nobler and
From Murmur.
Tom O'Brien.
Okay. I knew Rammy after the war.
Hey?
I knew him after the
Did
war.
you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bernie Crawford.
You'd hear one, Ram, time to brew up.
He told me once he couldn't shoot when he was sober.
Well, I can believe that.
Well,
But
Cowboy
Jesus-
King put him under arrest one time for drinking.
Hey?
Cowboy King put Ram under arrest one time for drinking. Yeah, he said Ram had been sent up to shoot this, to try and engage this sniper. And Cowboy King put him under arrest. He was a lieutenant for the Mounties,
Okay.
so he got the nickname Cowboy. He was at the last reunion.
We had a king from Bancroft who was in the Hasty Peas, Wayne King.
That's the guy, but he's not from Bancroft.
Oh, the guy that,
He went out there. He
Hey.
was from Ontario.
Oh,
Who's that?
Wayne King.
Wayne
Yeah.
King, that's
Oh, okay.
I went
Cowboy King.
overseas.
was that, okay, I never connected the two, Cowboy and Wayne, is
Yeah.
that right?
Well,
Okay.
that was a nickname he got.
Yeah.
He was one of the officers in,
was
in
he from,
basic
George?
training in,
Where was Wayne from?
When was that, George? When did he go overseas? Do you know?
yeah, he come over, there was him, Cocken and Mills.
Yeah, Cocken was my first officer. Before that, we had a platoon sergeant major. But when was that? In the fall of 40?
No. We got over there and we landed in, we left Halifax in February, we left Borden in January, 41.
Oh, 41.
And we landed in Scotland.
Rennick.
Yeah.
Have any gentlemen ever had the opportunity to run into Brigadier Graham?
Oh,
Right.
many times.
Oh, yeah.
He was around all the time.
See, he just about ended up in Madoc.
Pardon?
He just about ended up in Madoc. He was going to open up a law practice there.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't, I don't think, he had a business in Trenton. eh?
Yeah, he was a lawyer in Trenton, yeah. Well, he-
Before the war.
Yeah, but he went to school with George White,
Oh, yeah.
who opened up in Madoc and
Yeah.
went on to become senator and all of that.
Yeah.
But at one time, they were gonna jointly open up their business together, but Howard stayed in Trenton and George came to Madoc.
Would that be before the war then?
Oh, yeah, before the
Before
war.
the,
Yeah,
before the
war.
Second World
Yeah,
War.
yeah.
Where was that Gordon Beatty from?
That's a good question.
Who?
Gordon Beatty.
Gordon Beatty was from Prince Edward County someplace. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I didn't know Gordon until I went
Yeah, he was in Charlie. He was a sergeant.
I know him a
17
bit.
times.
Now, what about Storms?
Art Storm?
Art
Our
Storms?
storms.
Art was a county boy.
Yeah. He went into car business after the
He
war.
was transport corporal, wasn't he? Transport sergeant.
Yeah.
He was transport
He
surgeon.
got the MBE for
Bringing
the
the
colonel's
station wagon home.
Wagon home.
Talked to him many years ago, and he was telling me that when the Hasty Peas did their little jaunt into France before it surrendered, he was very lucky to get back to England.
Oh, I wouldn't know it a bit. We were all god darn lucky to get back to England in 1940. We were damn lucky. We were in, see, we were within 30 miles of Paris when Paris surrendered to the Germans. And we were damn lucky.
I guess so.
We had a .55 anti-tank rifle to knock out, to go through that much steel. It wouldn't even it wouldn't even pierce a red gun carrier.
Well, Raspador said they had 2 mortar bombs and no sights for the mortar when they went over.
I just got to England when you just come back from France, May
Yeah.
40.
Yeah, we come back in 19. Well, did you go to France?
No, I didn't go to France. Just got over to England.
Oh yeah. Oh,
40.
Yeah, I remember that. They left, that draft that had just come in, they decided they'd leave them in England. Yeah.
So I
In the
suppose all
spring.
three has got to Messina.
Yep. They crossed over there.
He crossed
Yeah.
over there.
And they crossed over into France too.
Okay, so when the first div got pulled out of Italy, then you went to France and,
Yeah.
okay, up through Holland, Belgium, and
I went up through Holland, yeah.
and where did you end up in, George, when VE Day was declared? Where were you?
We were near Apeldoorn.
Okay.
We were in that area there. We,
Germans
into
that just
my
blew,
trip. I got
the
wounded
Germans
on
that just
that
blew
one.
a bridge in front of us were left Apeldoorn. Then they just blew a bridge when they seen the guy put the white flag up.
You lasted right till you were there right pretty well to the end, Joe, were you?
And where-
Were you two, George, in Holland right up till they signed the peace treaty?
I think I was.
Yeah. I got wounded outside of Appledore and they flew me home. Flew me to England.
Would you get one of those shells that bounced down the road hit you?
No, I got hit with a machine gun.
Well, after they signed the,
That
I
would
did.
happen to you. anyway.
George, I can prove that I got a groove in the top of my head.
And you were there too, Joe, in Appledore?
George, if they'd hit
When the war
any place
was
else,
over?
they would have hurt me.
At Appledore?
about 3 days after the surrender, they loaded a bunch of us on the trucks and they took us out to a place called Eichmuden. 20,000 Germans out there, and they didn't know the war was over yet.
Oh, okay, that'd be
So
interesting.
we're all sitting around there, and they're all armed, and we're getting out of our trucks. Finally, a staff car pulled in, and this guy got out. Geez, general or somebody, I forget what his name was. And he told the troops the war was over. Then we felt better.
Yeah, right.
Much better.
Here, then we start disarming them. Boy, they had a field there that had to be 50 acres. And they made them start bringing in stolen stuff. Bicycles, cars, pianos, everything you could think of, they were coming in there. We were there for a week.
Okay.
We got one of their supply outfits, we run right into us.
Yeah.
And they had John de Kuipers in the cases. And on the bottle it said, John de Kuipers, who nightly takes, soundly sleeps and fit awakes. Soundly sleep, yes. Fit awakes, no. You're hung over. If they'd have wanted a mortar platoon,
Well, that must have been some excitement though, going through the streets of some of those Dutch villages.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it was-
Oh,
it was a whole different ball game. Everything was flat. We were used to we were in the mountains in Sicily and Italy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And they didn't want to allow us into the cities and towns when they pull out. Even to follow Rome. We were on the push there right after the Hitler line.
Yeah.
What do? They pull us out and put a South African outfit in.
Is that
And
right?
yeah.
into Rome,
And then
yeah.
when they took Rome, they said it was out of bounds to the Canadians.
Oh yeah, Mark Clark
Oh,
wanted to
don't
get the
you remember
Americans
there?
in there
He got the
first.
big, he
Yeah.
got the big,
Yeah.
we were sitting,
We're about 20
sitting-
miles out
we were
when
the
they stopped
closest
us.
to Rome,
Yeah.
sitting in a little
The
town called
Americans went through
Anagni.
taking Rome.
Yeah.
They
Remember that,
stopped
George,
us.
Anagni?
Yeah.
Right?
And the town was Anagni.
Yeah.
Anagni. A-N-A-G-N-I.
No,
And they held us there and let the Americans go in.
Yeah.
Yep. We had a place, they called it Three Sorellas. They stopped us right there, and the Americans went in and took Rome.
Well,
We
Mark
couldn't
Clark,
run it.
he wanted to get all the glory.
Yeah.
So he did
Yeah.
for one day, but then D-Day was the next day.
Yeah.
but they
So-
said Rome was out of
Well,
bounds.
D-Day was quite a while after that. Yeah, a long time
Got a
after
cork?
that. I got kind of a cute little story,
Shut up,
George.
Hunter.
If I can get permission from George to tell it. But anyway, when we went to Holland, I was with with number 4 platoon, the carrier platoon, and we pulled in, and this one guy was he was one of the oldest veterans that had landed in Sicily, driving the carrier. And he dug himself a nice big hole, and all the rest of us, about 4x4, nice big hole. Then he drove his run gun carrier over the top of the hole, and just run enough room for him to pile in. And we were all laughing at him like hell, you know. And said, there's nobody going to shell here. What are you wasting all that energy for? By Jesus, they shelled us. And he could not get in his hole. There was too many guys got in the hole ahead of him. He dug the goddamn thing and he couldn't get in. I remember that so well. I was one of the guys, first ones in.
So George, when you come back home, where did you land? Halifax, or
Yeah,
and by train back here?
yeah, first class.
Okay.
First I couldn't believe it. We had sheets, pillows.
So you demobbed right here in Belleville?
Then had a stopover in Montreal for a while. And along comes a guy with a Mickey whiskey and wanted to sell it to us for $25.
Oh, yeah.
That was a year's,
Worse than Alder's.
that was a year's pay, $25.
What
Where's
was
the
your pay,
Alder's
Joe? What was your pay?
Tried
About
$1.30.
$40 a month.
Oh, I
Well,
had-
it went up because it went from $1.30
To
up to
$1.50.
$1.50.
Okay.
I had 1 month from being over there 6 years, and when I got my reestablishment thing, I had $1,100, and they paid me off at $85 a month for I forget how many months after the war.
Yeah, they gave us the government was very good to all of the veterans on release. I thought with the amount of money they gave
They
us.
gave us $45 for a suit to get a suit.
Okay.
How much was it? Was it 10? Was it what did we get paid? 10 days for every month or something? Get
What was
paid.
that digger time?
Eh?
Yeah.
something like that, that we got on release. And I.
Well, that's better than holiday pay.
Yeah, well, yeah, I thought that.
You know, I thought you were a friend. How did you let him get that suit?
So did you get the suit? Did you get a suit, Joe?
Pardon?
Did you take your $45 and buy a suit?
Yeah.
You did. George, did you?
I got some money for a suit, but I
Probably
didn't get
depended
the
on
suit right
booze.
away.
We're living in Halifax, we're on the train there, you know, and going along, going clickety-click. And the guy said, "Do you hear that noise?" And I said, "What's that?" He said, "That train's going clickety-click." He said, "It's bacon and eggs, bacon and eggs."
We, when I got wounded at Appledorn, I went to a British hospital, but there happened to be a Canadian doctor there. And I said, "Well, I'm getting married." My wife was English. And I said, I'm getting married as soon as the war is over. And her father said, "As soon as the war is over, you have my permission." And I said, "I'm getting married, the war is putting her over. How about flying me back to England?" And he said, "I think maybe I can do something like that." So the next thing I know, and here's all these English boys in the room there. And then the orderly comes in and says, "Pack your stuff up, Gunner, you're going to England."
Yeah, they had
flew me
to
to
shut him up some way.
Yeah,
They
that's
flew
what it was,
They flew me
yeah.
to England. And
They were getting rid of you, that's what
yeah,
it was.
and anyway, when we got to England, they wanted to know what I wanted to do. And at the repat depot, or the reinforcement depot, I guess it was at that time, there was two or three of our officers who had been, Ketchison was one, said, "What do you want to do, Gunner?" And I said, "Well, I'm going home right away," because I was a 39er and I went over in January 1940. And I said, "I'll be going home right away." So I said, "You just give me a bike and I'll DR," because I'd ridden a bike all through Sicily and Italy. And I said, and until I can go home, so just give me a bike. Well, I was doing that, and I see these guys going home with a lot less time than me. And here it turns out I'm drawing Kirk's Trace Pay. But I'm riding a bike, and they come along. I said, I got afraid of this. "Well, what the hell's the big idea? I should be going home." And they said, "You're frozen." I said, "I am?" I said, "Yeah. All DRs and clerks are frozen in your boat." And they froze me. So then the next trip I took to CMHQ in London, I applied for a job there, and I transferred right away. They took me in. I was in London within a week of when I applied for the transfer.
Did Stan get a raw deal over there, George?
Yes, he did.
You weren't when they had their
Yes,
wives.
he did.
Who's that?
Stan catches.
They switched him over.
No, did
There
you?
was a new brigadier. You keep out of this.
Okay.
I'll tell it the way I saw it. There was a new brigadier. I don't think that there wasn't a complete recce done. And I forget who the brigadier was. He was an asshole.
Smith.
And
Where's that,
so he
George?
was sent out, ordered to take the battalion. Well, they lined up along the banks and were waiting. And they had these K-Pock bridges. We were going to be putting them across, and so the men from the support company were over there working at them. And all of a sudden, this bloody rumble come over the air. Medium artillery opened up, the British. And I said to the fellows, I said, "Hit the goddamn dirt." And the sergeant we had, he said, "You keep cutting rope." I said, "No, hell with it." And it started falling in. And there was pretty near a whole section of Ron Church's platoon wiped out right there on the bank, on the dike. You went up like that, and then you had to go over and down. And it was about 20, 30 feet down to the water. Then the water was low. And when it was over, Ketchison and Stan got the heave-ho. He was blamed for it. And it wasn't. He wanted to do a recce. He said there was no time for that. and the British were involved in this.
Gentlemen, we're
Where's
drawing to
that
the
at,
end
George?
here. It's been nice. Your driver, I think, is out there, George. Anyway, it's been good talking to you, gentlemen.
Well,
Hope we
it
can
was-
do it for the next 10 years.
I hope you get your ears cleared of the bush.
This Major Church, some of the guys are AWL, he went on the bar to get,
I get one
the
from
guy
the
told him,
Thank you, everyone.
and they come to find out, the guy was Tommy Carter, the heavyweight champion boxer.
Is that right?
Would you know my father? Cecil?
Cecil,
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Cecil Hagerman, Madoc.
the name sounds
We
familiar.
used to go
No,
up
I
there, we
did
used to
not
go up to
know.
Dick Crosby's all the time.
Oh, did he? At Dick Crosby?
That would be fun, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I might.